The other thing, and by far the most interesting thing that I played this week, and I've been talking to Gene and Dad Asana about it nonstop, is the Marathon Alpha from Bungie.
Right. So that was closed?
That is very closed. You had to get a code for being an influencer or send a code out as an influencer. Well, I talked about how the Bungie presentation was super weird last week, and how it seemed like for Bungie by Bungie.
Internal.
Okay, so straight off the bat, before you even got your code, you would get invited to the Bungie Discord, in which you got to see the guy whose job it was to hand out the codes just having a straight up mental breakdown for like 6 days, because the codes wouldn't work, or the codes wouldn't go out, or people were having trouble assigning their Bungie accounts to the code, or like when you get an announcement in Discord and like a muted channel all of a sudden pings up with like the little one, and there's like a 3, 4, 5 day period where every single time we're like, listen, don't DM me about the codes until you have done the following thing, and just like just really going through it.
Oh no, okay. Everything on my Discord has a little one next to it. All of it.
Yeah,
don't like that's not it.
All right, fair enough, fair enough.
But anyway, I get the idea, the spirit of what you're saying.
And so I spoke with Gene at length, and I have Gene's permission to put some of the opinions that we talked about forward. So the most interesting thing about Gene's time with Marathon is that he has been having the absolute hardest time getting to play Marathon. For whatever reason, they sent it to his work email instead of the one that his Bungie account is table to, and he spent literally the entire pre-beta and beta time up until yesterday talking with various people at Bungie, trying to get a code and going, why is it so hard for you guys to send me a code when everyone I talk to is, I will definitely send you a code right away.
Okay,
so from a live service perspective,
community manager
all of these rollout things are not encouraging.
Not great. How is game? How is game though?
It's fucking terrible.
Oh no! Oh no!
It looked terrible.
Oh damn! It looked cool. It looked really cool.
This was supposed to be an embargoed alpha. This was going to be, hey man, we don't want any video, we don't want any pictures. We want impressions only. And then like 2 days before that, they were like, guys, you can stream it. You can do anything. So the game is coming out this year.
Oh man, that cool art style gets wasted.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Okay. All right.
The game is coming out this year. And this is an alpha. And you know how we make fun of 2XKO for having an alpha, but it's not really an alpha. And you know how we make fun of this game for having a beta, and it's not really a beta. Marathon's alpha is the roughest version of a game I have ever seen sent out for this type of promotion. It is alpha. It really is. A huge proportion of the game's visual presentation is missing. The external areas are one step above gray box. Like it's rough, and it is ugly, and it is alpha, and it is like, this is supposed to come out in 4 or 5 months, bro. That is dire. That is worrying,
man. So after, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, feel free to cut in whenever.
Well, after we talked about it last time, and I saw the little like gameplay breakdown thing, I noticed, because you were asking me what did I watch specifically, and what I did see was the it was all just narration over gameplay mechanics, right? And I was like, wow, this looks really cool. And the idea of, and like, what was happening with the art style, I thought looked pretty bold and impressive, and I thought that was a cool direction visually for what was going on, and everything they described seemed fine, I guess, team thing. I later, when the conversation was done after the podcast, went and watched the short film concept thing, which was fucking rad.
Absolutely.
That thing was incredible. I completely missed that. And I was like, oh, fuck, that was the promise of what people's expectations were.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to stop you right there, okay? The gameplay stuff that they showed off, as of right now, the game doesn't look like that either. Okay, I'm going to just send you can turn your sound off, but I'm just going to send you like a random, like a YouTube video from some guy where just in the middle of gameplay where he's moving the camera around. The game does not look good at all. It looks like profoundly unfinished. It is rough. And you know what? The game looking visually a certain way is not important. Okay, that's not the main thing. The main thing is that this does not look and feel like it is going to come out in 6 months.
Okay.
And it looks way worse than the stuff they have been showing.
So I can see from look here that like the assets and the bold color choices and everything are as advertised, but I guess the lighting, especially outside, is not as dynamic as it could be.
It is not. It's not there. It's not finished and it's not there. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So,
okay. I see.
My first thing is like, you should not have. I actually disagree with because it was a higher up decision when that price discussion happened to put the game out so people could see it. I agree. They should actually have not let people watch this version of the game. I think it gives a really terrible first impression.
I wonder if they were forced to after a certain amount of time for
maybe
investment.
The second thing,
quarter, whatever,
is this is an extraction game, right?
Yep. And
for some reason, I talked about this when they showed it off. They're like, you know what we're going to do? We are going to do a 3-man extraction game. The game is going to put you into teams of 3. If you solo queue, you're going to be up against teams of 3. The way to play this game is with teams of 3. So what did I do? I went and got Dead Asuna and I got Quiet Viking and I said, come on the show. And we hung out and we played it in a match-made, pre-built, on voice chat during the stream team of people who all know each other and all had the same goal and started to run into like
were you on Discord comms?
Yes, we were.
Okay.
And my stream, if you want to go watch it, it's me and Dead Asuna and Quiet Viking. Thank you for coming on the show. You guys are great.
Right on.
And we did 5 or 6 games. So right off the bat is I couldn't believe how British Dead Asuna is. It's outrageous.
I believe
it's offensive.
I believe it.
But more than that is that I cannot imagine how miserable playing this game in anything but that scenario is. So it's an extraction game. So if you die, you lose every single item on your person.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So queuing by yourself is a nightmare because it has like Halo level time to kill. In Halo multiplayer where like an engagement is like 10 seconds long.
Okay.
So if an engagement is like 5 to 10 seconds long, there's no chance to beat a team 1-on-3. In like Warzone and Call of Duty, where you can kill someone with like a single shot or like a burst from your gun, one very excellent player can beat a team of 3 if they get the drop on them, right? Shoot them in the back, shoot them in the back, shoot them in, that kind of thing. The encounter time in Marathon is really long. In the footage on my stream, Asuna dumped an entire magazine into another player and they didn't die. And then that other player's friend came around the corner and both of them focused her down.
Okay, so like shields are a big thing.
Yeah, so like 1 versus 2 is impossible. 2 versus 3 is impossible. So if you're playing by yourself or with not the maximum amount of people, combat against other players is just not available as a genuine option, which is ridiculous because this is a PvP game. If you are going to play with randoms, right, you run into a different problem, which is if you have the Apex situation where they just ditch you or are actively harmful, you can either perform badly enough that you cause them to lose all their fancy gear, or if you came in with good stuff, They can cause you to lose your fancy gear. And you would think that's not that big of a deal, except the game's primary form of permanent progression is little contracts. But the contracts can't build up. You only have one contract to come into the match, and everybody's contracts are going to be different and point them to different parts of the map. So if you matchmake in, then everyone's going to have objectives to go to different parts of the map. And how are you supposed to get randoms to actually team up with you and go where you want? You can't. On top of that, it's an extraction game. And you remember when everybody wanted to be Destiny 2, like shooter MMOs?
Oh, was that a phase? Yeah.
That was a big phase. Okay. There were a bunch of games that came out like that, and none of them were Destiny. This is the new trend is extraction, which is a genre for sicko freaks because it's so vicious and mean and punishing.
Well, so I was about to ask actually, because I remember, so Asna, I believe, was talking about like when you go on a losing streak in these games, right?
It's just start your in a fighting game terminology, everybody else gets to start with full meter and you don't. You're going to lose again.
You start with nothing constantly, and if you have stuff saved up that you're afraid to lose, and if you do end up losing everything, there's nothing to do.
It's about like being very careful and cautious.
XP so what can be lost essentially.
So what happens? Okay, so here's what happens. We did a couple matches and we had some good gear. And you do a match, and the first most of the match is slowly crawling through an environment, scrounging through items, and looking through boxes and being like, do I want this gun? Do I want that gun? Do I want that item?
Apex.
Do I want this health item? No, but slow, like crawling.
Okay.
Because what happens when you die in Apex? You hit rematch, right? And you just go to the next match. What happens when you die in Marathon? You lose every single item on your body and start back up with the default gear, which is shit.
Teams got to come grab you though, right?
No, if you die, if your team wipes, everyone's just wiped.
If you wipe, no. I mean, if you individually go down,
they can pick you back up. Yeah. And so it's just slowly crawling through an environment and hopefully not encountering an enemy. And you know what happened? We found a team of 3, and we were a team of 3, and we got the drop on them, and we beat them, and we stole all their gear. And then we walked about 100 feet, and a different team of 3 got the drop on us and killed us. And we lost every single thing that we got in the entire thing, and we didn't actually have any fun either.
Okay, well, I mean, that dog eat dog moment, the fish bigger fish thing, that's the design.
It's
right?
the point, right?
Yeah.
But my point is that the game's also not fun to play, which is the weirdest part. This is a Bungie game. People put up with all sorts of shit in Destiny because Destiny plays like a Bungie game, and Bungie games are fun to shoot guns in. This game is the slowest game they've ever made, like movement and all this stuff. It has the worst feeling guns. It has the worst movement. It just feels bad.
Is any of
and
that
slow?
Is any of that connected to the fact that it's from Marathon, or is that just?
I don't think so.
Okay. Is there, because I'm like, is there a part of it that's legacy, or are we just looking at like we're not doing another Destiny thing, we're doing something that was established?
Sure there's people in here who've played it as well, and they can the game legitimately like feels poor to control, and like that was supposed to be the saving grace. The saving grace was people like, well, I don't like extraction games, and I don't like this, and I don't like that, but it's going to be a Bungie game, so it's going to play hot. It plays bad. And so I have a very, very, very quick impression from Gene that I think sums the whole thing up, where he got the code last night when I was streaming and left to go play Marathon. He left my stream. He put my stream on his phone or a second monitor, and he started to play Marathon. Then the following things happened. Let me go find it. I asked him, hey man, how was it? And he said, it made me fall asleep. I woke up and your stream was over, and then I went back to bed. And I asked him, do you mean fell asleep with your controller in your hand? And he said, yes. I woke up full on with my controller in my hand on the exfiltration screen.
Wow.
I tried to do another game, but then I died and I lost all my stuff. So now I only have a knife.
Wow. Okay. And the thing is like playing I mean, we were talking about this a little bit earlier before when you were talking about like City of the Wolves, for example, but playing with other people is also how you maximize your chances at fun.
Absolutely. And so I played with people that I know and have known for years and I really like. And we were both sitting around going,
damn.
Sorry, we were all sitting around going, oh, I don't know about this. Oh, do you guys want to? And so like, I feel like the ultimate like opinion having moment for me was that it was an alpha of a highly exclusive game by a generally well-liked company. And I was doing great numbers and I had 2 guests on the show. And I played it for 90 minutes and I went, you know what? We're good. My usual stream's 4 or 5 hours and I did 90 minutes of it. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop and turn the game off. And the tipping point for me was that there's progression. There is a progression system. Like you do your quests, like, you know, kill this many people or get this many items, and they build up to permanent buffs, right? And that's cool. It's like faster sprint or, you know, stuff like that. And it has like a skill tree. I'm like, that's cool. And then you mouse over it and then they last for the season. So it lasts for 30 to 90 days. So your actual progression that you're doing all this for is so that you can be a little stronger for like 2 weeks at the end of the season.
And then if you ever peace out and come back later, yeah.
Oh, don't worry, it'll reset. So, it is a really, really bad alpha. It is very troubling that this game is 4 or 5 months away. Almost every single thread on the Marathon subreddit is people going into it and going, why is this game built for 3 players? What the fuck are they thinking? It is acting as just the most vicious way to make it impossible to play.
I wonder
like
if they
it is
this
like it's just sorry after you.
Oh no, I was going to say like if I like I guess just thinking about the past, I remember you and other people playing Destiny used to talk about like the shit that was terrible about those games, and then like how they over time, I guess they kind of buttered them up until Taken King.
Yeah, Taken King was great.
Was really good. So yeah, I kind of wonder.
And then Destiny 2 came and didn't have any of the good stuff from Taken King, and it took until Forsaken for Destiny 2 to become good, and then Destiny 2 was great.
Yeah,
for a while.
So I kind of wonder like if this is a case of like, hey, maybe put it back in the oven for a bit. You know, people got their hands on it for the first time. You got a lot of feedback. Don't spit it out in a couple months just to watch it die, just to watch it get concorded. Take the time you need to make sure that your shit's actually
I think this game is being like rushed out super hard. Because the thing that really says it to me is like, one, it doesn't play well, which is weird because Bungie makes games that play well.
That's always been the hallmark of that with the FPS.
And it's like it's a sci-fi shooter. Like it should be like just steal the Destiny shit. But the second one is the maps that are in the game right now are very small, and there is a big map coming after release. That's a gigantic spaceship called the Marathon, which will likely be the game's primary map, but it's not there at launch. And the only reason I can think of it not being there at launch is that the game is being rushed out the door.
Okay.
The title of the game as a map is going to be post-launch.
Yeah, I think my only experience playing an extraction thing has been Mashmac mode in Mecha Break.
I have on Asuna said they had way more fun playing that with you.
It was cool
than they did playing this with me.
It was cool, you know. as a and the thing is what, and here's the other bit. It was cool, and it was a way to like go and get like XP and custom paints and whatever, leveling up your equipment, etc. But it was a side mode to a team shooter main mode. You know, you could choose to play the game in a team of 6 v6, or you could go do this extraction mode. It wasn't the main thing, you know.
I am like genuinely very surprised at how bad this alpha is. And obviously, hey, alpha, not final. But then it's like by the end of the year. And I'm like, no, that's it's rough. It feels like we are playing internal alpha playtest builds.
So yeah, Bungie really used to be synonymous with like, yo, really fun, shoot good FPS console game, you know?
Yeah, Halo feels awesome. Destiny feels awesome. So like if they don't have that, like who is this for?
Just out of curiosity, when Halo switched hands over to the other studios that are in control of it now, does like the latest Halo?
They kept it exactly the same. So
right, and so and how do those things feel compared to like Destiny's like last?
They feel like Halo. The big problem with Halo 4 was that the fucking, I think it was the new enemy type were just not as fun to fight as the Covenant.
Okay, but
so like Master Chief feels good.
Foundation is of everything else is still the same.
And I know that Halo Infinite feels good, but you know.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, there's an element of like, when I first playing Apex, and I'm kind of like, damn it, why can't I run off the walls? You know,
right?
You have that moment, but you're going from S+ to like, yeah, right. This is still fine.
So yeah,
know,
I need to be really clear. I'm not talking about general. I'm not talking about abilities. I'm talking about like firing an assault rifle in Marathon feels like shit. I'm talking about like the single most basic interaction you could have with a first person shooter. You're like,
I see. Okay.